Okay, so no doubt the American people, you have seen the evidence for yourself here, how that, the call, it's more or less no doubt company paid off. And you got to keep in mind, General Mills is a major multi-billion-dollar corporation, and believe me, they have a lot of influence and prestige on how they can persuade and get things done. And like I said, and even the editor, when I had this particular meeting, as you all heard, that you know, he brought up about community activist Alonzo Washington. I mean, hey, if he got monies, whatever, that's cool. I'm not knocking that, whatever. $35,000. But the thing that I'm concerned about more than anything is that when General Mills can use any resource or whatever it is to use as a means to try to keep the issue of racism from being addressed down there at their company, well, then that comes a matter of serious concern, because there's no more than manipulation. Mr. Washington, he was doing great in the area of exposing General Mills with the boycott that was called on him back in 03, and even when General Mills had came into an agreement that they was going to help in the black community, as you see back in part 5 on my video here, concerning how that they will contribute and give monies in the American, the African American urban community down here, and how that once that 3 years terms was up, well, then General Mills immediately quit it and stopped. But something happened, as I stated earlier, about this racist employee come forth with a hang loose rope. And because, again, community activist Alonzo Washington had gotten involved in that issue, well, General Mills didn't want that to continue to be dressed, especially when General Mills was put out in the media about racist hate crime act in the hang loose situation when one of the racist employees came back up over here in 2007. Well, that's why, again, General Mills decided to go ahead on and continue to give monies to the black communities and things. So, like I said, I don't have any problem with our community being assisted. I don't have any problem with that at all. But the issue that I'm concerned about is when a racist company can manipulate and play and give monies and things to make it appear that they are doing it in goodwill and good faith as a means to try to cover up a lot of the racism and stuff that's behind the scene that is still going on. Well, that's something that still needs to be addressed. And keep in mind, at one time, community activist Alonzo Washington and myself, we was working real well together and exposing them and even a call. Well, now General Mills had become clients with a call. And you heard the young lady herself stated, well, if these individuals are afraid to come forth or whatever it is, well, she's not afraid to make monies. I mean, it's about the money thing. It's not so much to care less about, who's been discriminated against. As long as, General Mills is the call's client now, well, that means they're getting a paycheck, they're getting monies, and hey, and you heard her. She stated, well, hey, if them people's an individual, they're afraid or whatever it is, well, she's not afraid to make money. And this is a publisher. I came down there to get information to put out against General Mills. And she clearly stated, well, hey, it's a conflict of interest. They don't want to be bothered with it. They don't want to hear all that. It's a conflict of interest, and General Mills and their client. And you even heard the editor. And I said, if anybody else will come forth who want to give statements, would they be willing, would the call be willing to take statements from them? Well, he had to run it past the editor, he said that is, because it's still a conflict of interest. So my point I want to bring out to the American people, and many of you already know this, excuse me, many of you already know that major companies buy a lot of people, the majority of them, a lot of them is paid and bought off, or whichever the case. And the editor also stated that, well, when he went down to the General Mills here in the Kansas City area, stated that all the blacks down there, they appeared that, smiling and everything seemed to be whip-de-doo, and talking about how good of a place that General Mills here in the Kansas City area is a good place to work for, and all this and so forth. Well, I have another chilling testimony of a young man who begs the difference. And I will let you all hear his chilling testimonies and what he had to say concerning General Mills here in April of 2010. Yes, April of 2010, this year. Let's hear and see what he have to say if General Mills is all of this good place to worked down here for it, and all this as the call was more or less saying that General Mills, or he heard other individuals who were black saying. Well, let's hear and see what this young man had to say.